Ladies and gentlemen, Nintendo has done it again. It seems like every couple months now, Nintendo just gives you another reason to dislike them as a company. You know, it started for me as a huge Smash fan a couple years ago, seeing how much Nintendo just hated the Smash community for wanting to play their game competitively, to then also being someone who liked to play a lot of old Nintendo games that you just like literally cannot buy from Nintendo anymore, from their just constant campaign of like just bashing down emulation sites over and over and over again, despite there's some games of yours, Nintendo, that I want to play that I cannot pay you to play. Can I please play them? You know, another one was whenever the Joy-Cons just started like failing really bad, awful stick drift. You know, yes, Nintendo said, hey, if there's like a malfunction in your controllers, we'd be happy, send them to us, we'll replace them for free. But they still kept selling the same Joy-Cons with the same problem. And, you know, I'm not going to say that the Switch 2 is still going to have stick drift problems, because, you know, it's like it just came out. We haven't had long enough to notice if there's going to be this problem or not. But the Joy-Con housing looks the same. It's a little bit beefier, it's a little bit bigger, but I'm willing to bet that there's still gonna be the drift problem. And they're just gonna say once again, like, hey, send them to us, we'll get it repaired. Problem with that being though, you know, if you want to use your Switch and your first set of Joy-Cons are gone, you gotta wait a couple weeks before you get them fixed and come back. You're probably gonna buy a new set in that time. I also remember like way back ago, like a long time ago, if you wanted to share, or sorry, not share, like post any Nintendo game on YouTube or something like that, then Nintendo just wouldn't let you do that. If you do that, you have to split revenue with them, despite the fact that, you know, every other company is like, hey, please play our games, please put them online, you know, it helps us out a lot, it spreads the game and all that. Nintendo's like, no, we want our money. They don't do that anymore. In fact, Nintendo as a company has gotten a lot more relaxed on how they operate online on sites like YouTube. Like you can hear very commonly, like Mario Galaxy music is super popular as background music, and generally creators can use it without fearing consequence from Nintendo. You know, like thankfully now you can play Nintendo music in the background without having the Pinkertons show up at your door anymore. Another thing that I can just add onto the pile is the way that whenever you buy a game online, generally whenever you move to the next console, you cannot play it anymore. Like it is locked to that console. And in like even doubling down on this, whenever the Wii came out and you were buying games online and playing them online, the Wii didn't have like an account system set up with it. So if you bought games for your Wii and your Wii broke, those games were gone. And Nintendo never did anything about it. Nintendo has continued to never do anything about a lot of these problems. And, you know, it's like they just hate you as a user. They just hate you. And this recent thing that they've done is just another iteration that Nintendo just doesn't like the people who like to play their games. So as many people may know, this the 300, not 300, is it 400? 300 or 400, I don't remember how expensive this game was. This $300 or $400 game came out recently, and it's, you know, it's like, I think, I don't remember how much it was. Was it like 80, 90, 60? Somewhere around there. If you bought it with the Switch, it was like 50 bucks, it came with it. But this really expensive game came out recently, Mario Kart World. But there's a little funky thing that this game had. If in all the Grand Prix, normally in a Mario Kart game, you start the Grand Prix, you do 3 laps, you move to the next one, you do 3 laps, you move to the next one, 3 laps, move to the next one, right? This one is an open world game. They added open world so you can, anywhere you can see, you can drive to. So, you know, you're kind of just like free to roam anywhere you go. But something this allowed Nintendo to do was, say I have 2 courses, because those courses are actually in the world. You can drive on the course and then just drive off of it if you want to. Not really in any of the games where you would be racing in there. You kind of have to be in free play mode to do it. But you can just choose to leave and then enter free play mode. And, you know, because the courses are in the world, Nintendo decided, hey, we're going to make it so that you can drive from one course to the next. After the end of the first one, you just get up and you go down the highway onto the next course. And this sounds really cool in concept until you realize that drive there takes up the first 2 laps. You play 1 lap on each map and then you move on. And then you'd spin 2 laps on the highway and then you do 1 lap around and then you'd spin 2 more laps on the highway. Look at this gameplay. Look at how riveting this intermission track gameplay is. I'm cutting this off here because it's just not entertaining to watch. This goes on for so long. Take a look at the minimap. Look at how long that is. He is in a match right now. There are 24 other racers behind him, and nothing has happened, and nothing's going to happen until he actually gets to the course. So needless to say, people who are playing this game really didn't like it. Same with me. Me and my brothers, day one, we got this, and it was just so boring driving in between the tracks. Eventually, we figured out that if you play versus mode, you can pick which tracks you want to do, and then you'll get a full 3 rounds. And so, you know, we started doing that instead of actually playing the Grand Prix because they were just bad. Now, here's the deal. So whenever you're playing Mario Kart World Online, you don't just go down a Grand Prix. Instead, you go to a location, you finish the map, and then you're given a choice of one of 3 maps or random down on the bottom right. If you pick any of those 3 maps that are shown on the screen right now, you will do an intermission track for the first two laps, and then you'll actually do the round. But people found out that if you click random, it can give you any map on the board, okay? Any one of them. It can still hit those 3 that are on the screen right now, and you will have to do an intermission track, but if it hits any one of the other ones, you don't have to, and you actually get to play a full 3 rounds on the map. And so what people started doing was whenever it actually came to online play and map selection, everyone just picked random because no one liked doing the intermission tracks. They just weren't fun. And so with all this data that Nintendo has been collecting about the way people are playing online and the way people are selecting maps and all the talk that people are doing like, oh, pick random, pick random, pick random so you can play the full 3 maps, Nintendo, with their excellent thought-making, decision-making brains, decided, wait, oh, our community doesn't like doing the intermissions. They keep picking random. So we're going to make it more likely to land the intermission maps on random than it is to hit any of the other maps. Why? Why? They did the direct opposite of what the community wanted. They actually made it less likely to not get an intermission map. Nintendo, for some reason, is trying to shove it down your throat. You will play these intermissions, and you will like them, despite the fact that the community is outspoken and said, no, we don't like these. Nintendo took that and directly spat in our faces and said, no, you're going to play the intermission maps. Which just seems absolutely crazy. I don't understand how Nintendo can keep hitting this over and over and over again on so many different points, just continuing to nail in the fact that they just don't like their consumers. It's like they're doing it maliciously. They just don't like you. Anyways, that's really it. I just wanted to rant on this. Hopefully Nintendo stops this and doesn't do it. Like, I agree, it's stupid. Let me play in online mode where I can flip a switch that says, oh yeah, I want to play intermissions, I don't want to play intermissions. Let me in single player mode whenever I'm doing the campaign. Let me switch. I don't want to play intermissions. That's all. Bye.